The hidden healing power of your mind, the secret teachings of Yogananda. Dear friend, have you ever, in that silent hour when the city lights seem to pulse slowly and the day dissolves into thoughts, wondered if your mind can truly heal you? If the words you don't say aloud, but repeat inside, possess the power to relieve pain, calm anxiety, strengthen organs, and reorient your destiny? We live accustomed to seeking answers outside. A new pill, another consultation, a different therapy, a diagnosis that grants us relief. However, many times, the external doesn't reach the deepest places because it forgets the source from which everything springs, your consciousness. Paramahansa Yogananda taught with crystal clarity that your thoughts are living forces. They are not weightless shadows. They have vibration, direction, color, spiritual temperature. And those forces, like birds leaving the nest, go out from you, travel through your body and expand into the great field of life, influencing your health, your relationships, your mood, and your future. When the mind clings to images of fear, defeat, and illness, it summons those same currents. It's like tuning to a radio station. Those frequencies come again and again. When, instead, you hold the vision of divine strength, serenity, confidence, and joy, you begin to attract visible and invisible help. It's not about denying the reality of treatment or ignoring medicine. It's about remembering that before any remedy comes the terrain where that remedy acts, and that terrain is the mind. Yogananda explained it with a luminous metaphor. The mind is the farmer, the body is the field, thoughts are the seeds, and life takes care of the rain and sun. What you plant and water with your attention, that grows. Perhaps you wonder how a thought can touch matter. Yogananda taught that between mind and body there is no wall. There is a living bridge, the nervous system and the subtle energy channels through which prana flows. When a thought is repeated with emotion, it imprints its pulse on the breath, alters internal chemistry, modifies muscle tension, changes heart rhythm. That change becomes habit, habit becomes state, and state becomes condition. Illness, said the master, often begins as a rumor in the mind that we don't hear in time. Health also begins there, as a silent prayer that orders chaos and opens the way to harmony. Imagine for a moment your mind as a clear lake. Each thought is a stone that falls and generates waves. An isolated stone doesn't disturb the lake for very long. But if we throw stone after stone, the water becomes murky. This is what happens when we maintain an internal conversation of complaint, anger, or fear. The lake is restless without rest. If instead we let fall, again and again, stones of calm, gratitude, and confidence, the water learns a different rhythm. Over time, that new pattern is reflected in breathing, posture, blood pressure, digestion, sleep. The mind instructs the body without words, like a conductor who barely raises his hand and the entire orchestra understands. It's not about blaming yourself for what you think, but awakening to a power you may have forgotten. Most people believe their thoughts are private and harmless. Yogananda lovingly corrected that belief. Your mind is not a closed room. It's a broadcasting station. It sends vibrations constantly, whether you realize it or not. Therefore, observing the quality of what you emit begins to be an act of inner hygiene as important as washing your hands or ventilating your house. If every morning you choose a scent for your skin, why not choose with the same care the scent of your thoughts? Maybe you wonder if this isn't a pious illusion. The master never denied the value of doctors or treatments. He said, instead, that they are instruments of a greater force. Life flows through them when the mind believes, surrenders, collaborates. Those who fill themselves with fear block the door through which help enters. Those who internally invoke light open windows. That's why he taught simple practices to train the mind in favor of healing. They are not complicated rites. They are intimate gestures that anyone can learn and repeat until they become natural, like breathing. Close your eyes for an instant and accompany me. Sit with your back straight, as if a thread of light held you from above. Loosen your jaw, release your shoulders. Let your breath find its rhythm and ask yourself silently, what am I sowing with my thoughts right now? Don't judge, observe. Each cleansing exhalation, each inhalation brings calm. Place a hand on your heart and affirm gently, like someone remembering their identity. I am a child of light. Divine life circulates in me. My mind quiets. My body orders itself. My soul trusts. Stay there for a few moments, feeling how the inner voice stops shouting and begins to whisper. From this state, Yogananda advised impregnating the imagination with images of health. Imagination, he said, is the antechamber of reality. Visualize a golden clarity entering through the crown and descending like a warm breeze. See that light envelop the brain, eyes, throat, lungs, heart, solar plexus, belly, legs. Imagine that this light leaves no corner untouched, and that where it arrives, tissues remember their original plan. The cell that had forgotten its task remembers it. The organ that was marching forced resumes its rhythm. While you hold the image, accompany it with an affirmation. You don't need to speak loudly. A peaceful conviction is enough. I am being restored by divine energy. Peace heals me. Light organizes me. It may happen that while you practice, doubts arise. The old mind, accustomed to another landscape, will want to take you back to its territory. You'll hear thoughts like it's not real, it doesn't work, it's not for me. Don't fight with them. Let them pass like clouds. And return again and again to the light that descends and to the phrase that sustains you. Just as the body learned for years to tense up, it can now learn to relax. Loving repetition is the secret. One day, without announcement, you'll feel something loosening inside, a weight falling, a new space appearing. That space is the sign that the terrain has changed. Yogananda told simple stories that illuminate this principle. A devotee had been suffering from pains that came and went for a long time. He had tried remedies, had improved somewhat, but the pattern returned. The master indicated a small ritual upon waking and before sleeping. Breathe deeply, bring attention to the painful area. Wrap it in gold, calmly affirm that divine intelligence is guiding each process. Don't demand, be grateful. Don't force, allow. After a few weeks, the pain intensity diminished and, more importantly, the devotee discovered he no longer lived pending the discomfort. He had stopped giving it the throne of his attention. When attention withdraws, many ailments which fed on it weaken. Does this mean we should abandon all external help? Absolutely not. It means we begin to work from the inside out. Treatment acts better on cooperative internal terrain. A mind at peace facilitates sleep, improves digestion, orders the immune system. A grateful heart releases substances that calm and restore. None of this is foreign to biology. Biology is the body's response to music. Change the music and the body dances differently. There are also factors that are usually neglected and that are extensions of the mind. Words, for example. What you say about yourself, even jokingly, is seed. If you repeat "everything makes me sick," "nothing works for me," "I'm always tired," you're delivering to your garden seeds that will later surprise you to see grow. Try another language. Speak as someone who knows they are supported would speak. Today I choose serenity. I treat myself with patience. My body learns to heal. I'm grateful for what is already improving. It may seem artificial at first, like any new language, but with practice it becomes organic, and life begins to respond with scenes that mirror that voice. Environment also influences. Yogananda insisted on surrounding yourself with what elevates. Readings that ignite, music that calms, company that nourishes. Not because you should flee the world, but because your mind is impregnated by what it touches and hears. If you spend hours feeding it with news that stuns and conversations that wear out, it will be harder to then ask it to offer you peace. Give it pauses of silence, open windows, an ordered corner where you can sit to breathe. The mind appreciates small daily altars. Perhaps you still wonder how to distinguish a healing thought from an evasive thought. The healing thought never denies facts. It embraces them with a broad view. It doesn't say nothing's wrong. It says, yes, this is happening, and within this I choose to remember the light that guides me. It doesn't get angry with pain. It listens to it and learns from it without making it identity. It doesn't use positivity to hide. It uses it to illuminate. If the mind confuses, return to the body. The body knows. When a thought is healing, breathing becomes deeper, the chest softens, the forehead relaxes. When a thought is evasive, breathing cuts short, the body tenses. Let the body indicate the route. There are days when everything comes easily and days when the mind seems like a room with 1,000 open doors. On those days, don't give up. Reduce the practice to the essential. Sit for 2 minutes. Put a hand on your heart. Inhale counting slowly, exhale longer than you inhale. Repeat a single phrase, short and true for you. It can be peace now, it can be light inside. It can be here I trust. You need no more. Consistency, even in small doses, weaves a resistant fabric. When the storm comes, that fabric will hold you. Remember something else that Yogananda emphasized with tenderness. The mind heals faster when it prays. Not a distant prayer, but an intimate conversation with the source. You don't need a speech. Sincerity is enough. Tell the high what you feel, what you fear, what you desire, and then keep a brief silence, like someone who bows their head to listen. Often, the answer is not a phrase, it's a sensation of companionship, a clarity you didn't have, a decision that becomes simple. From there, return to your affirmation and your image of light. Now you're not alone pushing, now you let yourself be guided. Be patient with yourself. Just as winter doesn't become spring in a single dawn, the mind doesn't change seasons in a single attempt. But one day, without being able to point out exactly when, you'll discover yourself reacting differently to what used to overwhelm you. You'll notice that the body recovers sooner, that sleep becomes more restorative, that the sensation of burden diminishes. That day, give thanks. Gratitude is the key that closes the cycle. It recognizes what has already happened and enables what is going to happen. All this doesn't seek to replace the help you need, but to accompany it from its root. Every pill, every tea, every physical exercise that does you good will be more effective if it travels in a boat of clear thoughts. The mind puts the river in calm so medicines reach port. The mind opens the door through which the force from above enters. Therefore, when they ask you what you're doing to heal, you can say with meekness, I'm learning to think in harmony with life. If you've made it this far, you've already taken the first step. You've let an idea germinate, your mind has healing power, and you can educate it. You don't need to have all the answers or feel something extraordinary. It's enough to remember this simple thread each day and return to it when you let it go. Today I will sow thoughts that help me. Today I will speak of myself with respect. Today I will let light pass through me. Today, even if just for a few minutes, I will sit to breathe and to trust. And tomorrow I will return. Deep down, all this teaching is an invitation to return home. Home is your center, that serene place where nothing urgent shouts. From there, the body listens, the heart expands, and the mind understands what it couldn't see before. Yogananda called that center the presence of the soul, the divine spark that never gets sick, that never ages, that never fears. When you think from that center, each thought becomes a messenger of peace. And peace, with its patient step, goes putting each thing in its place. Dear seeker, having reached this point, the essential question arises. Can a positive thought become true medicine? Is it possible that a simple internal affirmation, repeated with faith and feeling, has more power than many expensive treatments? Paramahansa Yogananda taught that yes. And he didn't affirm it as a naive belief, but as a verified experience in his life and in that of countless disciples. For him, a thought full of faith was not a weak desire, but an active force that mobilizes vital energy, prana, toward places where balance is needed. Where the mind is directed with intensity, their energy flows, and where energy flows, healing occurs. This doesn't mean denying medicine, but complementing it with the medicine of the mind. Yogananda repeated that a body can receive the best treatments, but if the mind remains trapped in fear and doubt, recovery will be slow or incomplete. In contrast, a mind trained in faith, peace, and gratitude can accelerate processes that appear miraculous to the world's eyes. Today's science is beginning to prove what the wise already knew. Patients with hope heal faster, wounds close sooner, pain diminishes when the mind doesn't fight but cooperates. The master related cases of disciples who, sick for years, managed to transform their condition simply by repeating a simple practice. One of them suffered from chronic stomach pains that no doctor could cure. Yogananda asked him to, every morning and every night, close his eyes, breathe deeply, and visualize a golden light filling his stomach. At the same time, he should repeat with devotion, I am healed by the power of God. At first he doubted, but persisted. Weeks later, the pains had disappeared. No remedy had achieved what a constant thought, guided by faith, accomplished. This type of account is not pious fables. They are testimonies of the invisible law that operates in every human being. That which the mind holds with faith and emotion ends up manifesting. Yogananda explained it in simple language. Each thought is like an electric current. When it's turned on again and again, it ends up illuminating the lamp. Similarly, when an idea of health is repeated with conviction, it lights up cells, invigorates organs, and awakens the body's natural intelligence to repair what was damaged. Now then, how do we consciously direct this power? Yogananda offered us clear methods within anyone's reach. The first are affirmations, not mechanical phrases, but living declarations, repeated with deep feeling. If you tell yourself distractedly, I'm fine, your subconscious doesn't accept it. But if you place your hand on your heart, breathe deeply, and affirm with sincerity, I am strong, I am light, I am perfect health, then that phrase penetrates deeper layers and begins to transform you from within. The second method is visualization. The mind responds with more force to images than to words. That's why Yogananda recommended closing your eyes and imagining that the entire body is bathed in a golden radiance, as if thousands of tiny suns illuminated each cell. That light is not fantasy. It's the inner representation of divine energy that really circulates when attention concentrates. Many disciples affirmed feeling heat, tingling, or calm after a few minutes of this practice. They were signs that the body was responding to the mind's instruction. The third method is prayer. Not a distant prayer, but an intimate dialogue with the divine. Yogananda said that every sincere prayer is heard, but that true power arises when one believes it has already been answered. To ask with desperation is to sow doubt. To ask with confidence is to sow certainty. That's why he advised pronouncing the petition and then keeping silence, as if one knew that what was requested was already on its way. That confidence opens the door for spiritual energy to descend and act. The fourth method is meditation. When the mind quiets, energy concentrates and becomes available for healing. Yogananda taught that where the mind goes, energy flows. If the mind disperses into 1,000 worries, energy also disperses. But when it gathers in silence, that energy is directed to where one focuses it. That's why he recommended sitting each day for a few minutes in calm, breathing consciously, and feeling how life itself orders itself in the interior. Dear friend, all this is not mere theory. Daily practice gradually confirms its effectiveness. At first, perhaps you'll notice small improvements. More restorative sleep, a lighter mood, deeper breathing. Later, with consistency, those small signs become major transformations. The important thing is not to give up when the mind doubts or when the body takes time to respond. The seed needs time to sprout, but it always sprouts when watered. Yogananda also taught that illness is not the true enemy. The true enemy is ignorance of our inner power. The body can get sick, but the mind can renew it. The body can age, but consciousness can fill it with vitality. The essential thing is to remember that within you exists a divine spark, a part of universal consciousness that never gets sick or exhausted. When you connect with that spark, your thoughts become channels of a force that doesn't come only from you, but from the infinite. Therefore, dear seeker, the final teaching is clear. Take care of your thoughts as you take care of your body. Feed the mind with ideas of strength, joy, confidence. Every time a shadow appears, change it for a higher vision. Affirm your divine nature. Imagine light enveloping you. Pray with simple faith. Meditate in silence. Make these practices your daily routine, like someone who bathes, like someone who eats. Because just as the body needs nutrition and cleansing, the mind also needs it. Today, you can begin with a single step. Choose a phrase that inspires you and repeat it in the morning. Or sit for 2 minutes. Breathe. and visualize a ray of light in your heart. Don't underestimate those small gestures. Each repetition is like a drop falling on rock. Over time, it opens a path, and a day will come when you look back and understand that illness was not a condemnation, but a teacher that forced you to remember who you really are. Thus, the message of Paramahansa Yogananda becomes an eternal reminder. You are not a weak being, you are not a victim, you are not a limited body. You are a powerful soul, a channel of divine energy, and in your mind is hidden the key to your own healing. May these words resonate in your interior like a soft bell, reminding you that each thought can be a remedy or a poison, and that it's in your hands to choose. May light guide your mind, may peace flood your heart, and may your soul always remember that it is free. Jai Guru Dev. If this message touched your heart and helped you better understand the journey, remembering that it is part of your karma and your spiritual growth, support our work with a super thanks so we can continue creating transformative content with themes that inspire, help people, and bring more light to each life. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if it resonates with you, and share it with your friends so our message reaches where it's needed.